evening, students. I wanted to do a follow-up video just concerning your performance on the first essay test, which I thought was really well done. The average on the essay test was over a 94, ranged between a 94 and a 95, which is a solid A minus, verging on an A. So again, job well done. But I just also wanted to record this video to show you a concrete example moving forward of what would be exemplary responses. So I'm using anonymous examples from responses that were offered by yours truly, by you, during this essay test. So I'm going to go through each of the three questions so that you can get an idea concretely of what I will be expecting moving forward. So the first essay question asked, do the three goals of the middle school seem complete to you? Should there be others? So I was expecting you to articulate what those three goals are. And so you see on the screen here that the student thoroughly answered that. And she believed that these three goals were rather complete. So she went through why. And so she discussed each of those three goals and what they mean specifically and why they would be complete given the emphasis of the middle school level and where the students are at from a developmental standpoint. If you went the other direction, you would have to articulate why those three goals are incomplete. So you still need to discuss what they each mean, not in vague terminology, but you would still need to be specific. If you lack some detail, I only took off a couple points, but I'm really looking for thick descriptions here and textual references to the book because you get 2.5 hours to do this, and I don't give you a lot of questions. Do you need to take 2.5 hours? No. But you still need to take an ample amount of time using the book as a reference and making sure that you support your answers quite well. So this would be an example of an exemplary response to question 1. Question 2 asked you to connect Erik Erikson's views of the adolescent and identity formation to the zip code or specific programs found in middle school. And then it asked you how do each of these initiatives address a healthy formation of an adolescent's development. So I'm really looking for two things here. I want to see an explicit connection between Erik Erikson's views of the adolescent and specifically that identity and isolation formation stage that he believes students to be at and how that connects to the zip code. And you need to reference the specific programs. Now, that connection is just not a parallel connection insofar as they're both stage oriented. They actually intersect together because Erik Erikson believes that identity formation is critical and the zip code supports and complements that by helping students form a healthy identity through those specific programs of broad choice, but still the feeling of smallest and differentiated instruction. There's a whole list of 10 of them. I did not expect you to go through all 10, but linking how those support where students are at in that developmental progression was critical here. And again, just elaborating so that you could address how these initiatives help students form a healthy identity as an adolescent is important. So for most students here who's received all the points, they had two really healthy paragraphs here, breaking it up into those 2 points, that connection and how they really address healthy formation of an adolescent's development. So this again is a great example, and you'll note that the student here pulls in a lot of those specific programs, and those specific programs were discussed in detail on pages 54 through 57, a little on to 58. And so you have all 10 of those characteristics which really identify what an exemplary middle school would look like and how it responds to an adolescent's developmental needs. So that is question 2. Lastly, looking at question 3, some of the issues that came with this were not really honing in on the rationale for the integrated curriculum. That rationale is presented explicitly with great detail on pages 100 to 102. That rationale talks about all of the pluses or strengths of the integrated curriculum, and that's what this question revolved around. But then it also asks you to address important concerns. And again, The specifications within the rubric too are to include textual references, and I asked you to do that several times, either in the announcements or rolling this out, making sure that you're using the text as a support. But the weaknesses, problems, and/or concerns regarding the integrated curriculum are addressed explicitly, and there's several of them, and they're very valid concerns on pages 109 to 111. So sometimes there were issues because students didn't reference the correct material or the correct pages, and even though the concerns might be valid, they weren't very detailed or ones that were given enough description, and the description was likely lacking just because they didn't reference those that were identified on pages 109 to 111. But you'll notice this student has two very healthy pages again, or excuse me, two very healthy paragraphs where they discuss those strengths and they offer some support for those. It's not just a list, but they describe them and then they describe what those weaknesses and or concerns are. So again, I'm looking for thick descriptions here. From here on moving out, you'll always have 3 to 4 questions on your test. There are only 2 more tests. I try to use a lot of differentiated assessment here as well because I know that we all test in different ways and we all have different strengths. I also believe that differentiated assessment gives me a better idea of where everybody stands as well, because an essay test alone is not going to be able to measure your application of the material, for instance. But this does let me know how well you're digesting the various material within the text and if there's anything that I need to offer follow-up on. And I do offer follow-up. If you scroll down under each of your questions, once you're in the gradebook, you will see that I give feedback. Sometimes it's short and sometimes it's longer under response feedback. So be sure to refer back to that when you're in the gradebook so that you know maybe what you need to do moving forward to bolster some of your replies. But all in all, very wonderful job on the first essay test. Looking at some of your assignments coming up, we have the case study, which some of you have already handed in, so that's fantastic. But I wanted to pull up a sample case study. I know that you have one in your Blackboard shell already, but this is another one. Now, the topic of this case study is different than the one you're dealing with, but I'm pulling it up just to show you another sample format and to address some different questions I received via email about how many sources you need to have. You really only need to have 2. And there's plenty of times where you're going to be able to respond to questions even without a source using logic and just explaining in depth your rationale for the response. However, it's totally fine to use a source for every response that you usher, and you could use the same source. And you are more than welcome use as your sources those that I already provided. I did that to save you time, but also to ensure that you had some relevant sources, because sometimes you'll look for sources, you can't find something that's great, so you just use whatever's there. I wanted it to be something that was relevant to the case study. But I also highly encourage you to use your text, because what you want to be thinking about is how does a student's developmental level, where they are at as adolescents, how does that impact, either positively or negatively, their ability to evaluate their instructor's effectiveness? So just some food for thought there. But in this one, you'll notice that the student who completed this used an abstract to introduce the case study, and they give a summary of it. They also give you an idea of what is going to be recommended moving forward. So they use the abstract as an introductory piece. You do not need to do that, but that was how this student did it. And in this one, instead of questions, they were giving scenarios to which they needed to reply. And you'll notice they used a source to reply to scenario 1, but they did not for scenario 2. And it's a very short response. And sometimes that's acceptable, but you do need to make sure that it's complete. And they have a third scenario, and they bring in a source here to support it. They're always referring back to that scenario 2, the original introduction. So you want to keep referencing what was happening in that case that you were provided. And then in this scenario, they pull in another source. And then lastly, they do not use one to reply to their last scenario. For you, again, it's questions. So I'm pulling this up just to show you do not have to have a source integrated into each reply, but that's more than welcome. And you're free to use those that I already provided you as well as your text. So for this case study, the student ended up using 4 total sources. So that's not the same as your specifications, but if you have more, that's fantastic because it does show how much effort and research you have put into the project. But your case studies do not have to be lengthy necessarily. You just have to make sure that you have substantiated your replies well, and when applicable, that you've integrated research. But that is it concerning the case study. I've already filmed that separate video for your first performance-based project, which I hope you are taking a lot of time out this week to watch, and that you read through all of the resources that have been provided. At the end of the week, if you have any questions regarding that, which I'm sure you will, please post them in the questions forum or email me. That way I know what your thoughts are regarding the initial dive into that material. It's going to be a big project, but it's going to be a really rewarding project, and you're going to create something that's going to be really exciting and fun, and hopefully something you might be able to use in your future classrooms. But that's it from me for tonight. Hope you're all staying warm and having a great day, and I look forward to reading your reflections at the end of the week and your case studies. God bless.